You wake up in a tent that isn't yours. The blanket next to you is empty. You slept so well that you didn't even hear Daragast leave. The sun is already high in the sky, and your bard has already left for his mission. You wonder if you'll ever... Raymond is alone, studying a map on the table.
Finally. I was waiting for you.
He starts... Several years have passed since Leon set out to seek his obsessions. His stubbornness resulted in a war for the conquest of Calcinar. However, he has yet to acquire all the knowledge he needs to dominate the nation, and with time, the entire world. As part of Calcinar has fallen under his heel, the resistance has risen to stop him. The head of the rebels has hidden in the Ismaran forest. The village is quite rural, and is mainly dwelt in by farmers and shepherds. You have no idea who to look for. The intel you've gathered is scarce. The blacksmith looks down and continues his work.
The man you're looking
For years now, peace has been reigning over the continent of Hesperia. Leon enters the Rulath Forest, an area that has long served as the home of several outlaws. He made the right call. After some major effort and a few hours' work, Leon retrieves the jewel. Weirdly enough, his old keeper's bones weren't inside the tomb, a fact which leaves Leon quite astounded. He takes the silver pendant. The medallion is divided into 3 sections. 2 contain a red liquid, whereas the third is still empty, ready to receive more blood. Leon must now learn to master this type of magic. He's fascinated and can hardly wait. Without hesitation, Leon decides to head to Laganasan. The cold desert is an inhospitable region inhabited. My name is Leon. I'm a wizard of Balinor.
He speaks. What brings you so far from home?
Leon is fast, and the soldiers have no time to react. Once over the border, Leon explores the area. The ground... After some time, Leon finds the hill surrounded by... The wizard decides to step into the cave, and an eye is soon upon him. The dragon rises. The wall of water conjured by Leon shields him from the blast of fire, confusing the dragon. Leon must seize this. Leon's idea isn't a bad one. Despite its size, the animal can no longer move. This allows the wizard to enter the dragon's mind. As he tries this, his play succeeds, and the dragon collapses to the ground, exhausted. Leon decides to go after the Book of Blood Magic. He heads northwest. Leon indulges in a night of restful sleep to restore his energy. After fleshing out the last detail, the window's shutters are open, and Leon enters the tower effortlessly. Searching the room, Leon finds an hourglass on the desk, the only object in the otherwise unadorned chamber. Leon tries to pick it up, but the base is fixed to the desk as a sort of lever device. The movement stops the water flowing in from above, and it starts to drain out through several nozzles. Leon kills the Guardian and takes the book. A secret door.
succeeded in your first mission. You tracked down Daragast and returned to the Resistance headquarters. After coming back,
The bard's name is Balgol Oriar. He is a Taboshi.
you watch as Raymond and Daragast discuss the matter. The warrior bard must make an important decision regarding his own destiny, and you don't want to interfere. You admire him, even though you don't really You must be tired. You'll want to rest a bit. You test your ground, waiting for his reaction.
Yes, I wouldn't mind resting.
You wake up later than usual and get ready for a new day. The village is bustling. Raymond is alone, studying a map on the table.
Finally. I was waiting for you.
He starts, smiling at you. Sorry, I was more tired than I... You have made up your mind and gather some supplies right away. You choose a fast... I'll come with you. We'll take your daughter back. His death... You talk with Mifford's friends and decide to leave immediately to exploit the element of surprise through the darkness. We can't charge. The children would die. Wait here. You've been traveling for a while now. The sun is already high. Your journey continues with one goal: to track down the Sylph community Raymond told you about. That is correct, child. Adelina sentences, smiling.
That is correct, child,
Says Kalina, You wake up late in the morning, but nobody came in to wake you. You rested well on the hay bed. The small hut hugs... Well, I have to stay and help you out in destroying the last banished... You cross the T-Bosch border and ride on for several days. Your steed runs to the trees, quickly covering the distance. You take the bow from the saddle and stick some arrows in the ground in front of you. You knock the first arrow. You let the bow go and crouch down, ready to face the beast. The journey was long, but simple, despite a few rainy days. The stables are huge, surrounded by fences several feet high. My name is Ankoran. I come from Kael'Sinar and I'm here for business. Dismiss this guard and let's discuss business privately. You are a guest in... Let's talk here now. Sumai is clever. Well, you're wearing a brown tunic, so... You returned to the Sylph community a few days ago, bringing the news and the proof of your success. You correctly remembered the crowds have always praised Daragast as the snake, and walk through the image... Light! You cry out as loud as you can. You barely finish saying the word before the door opens with another click. I don't want to kill you, old man. I won't commit a worse... Your next target is Ariel, an air sorcerer who lives in the Arn Forest to the northeast of Kael'Sinar. According to what the Sylphs told you, he isn't responsible for your creation either. They want to prepare you for your final fight with the right rage and determination you'll need to destroy your sworn enemy. You Sylphs are water creatures, so of course your creator had to be a water wizard. You have contrasting feelings about your clan. Part of you thinks you're being used by them, but then again, you want your vengeance on those wizards too. What are you gonna do once you're done with them? Fortunately, you still have time to think of the answer. Ariel is hiding in a forgotten forest. Finding him won't be easy. As you enter the woods, you feel a strange tingling throughout your whole body. You stand on your guard. Danger might be lurking.
Welcome.
You turn left and right, but there's no one in sight.
Who are you?
The voice resumes in an unctuous tone. I'm Ankoran. I'm a Sylph. And you are? Where are you?
My name is Ariel, but you already know that.
The wizard chuckles, and you quickly grab your bow, knocking an arrow.
My suspicions were right.
You came with ill intentions. Great. I shall satisfy you right now.
Ariel declares an arcane word of power, and you soon hear wings flapping. Suddenly, a monstrous creature appears. It's no bigger than a dog, but it has the wings of a bat, the head of a lion, and is pitch black. The animal is diving down against you. You need to defend yourself. You can loose an arrow at it right away, risking it pouncing on you all the same. Or throw yourself on the ground, shooting only once it's gone over you. You drop to the ground. The monster's paws scratch at your back, wounding you lightly, but you grit your teeth. You suddenly turn and release the arrow, which stabs the creature's back. It plummets down, screeching in pain, but then pounces on you. You're still lying on the ground, and there's no time to stand up. You need to play the animal's wound in your favor. You struggle until it pins you to the ground, and you've lost your bow. Should you unsheath your short sword or a knife? You unsheath your knife, stabbing at the creature's mouth as it tries to maul your face. You're covered in blood, but alive. You stand back up right away. You're shaking with rage. This wizard is tough.
Remarkable.
Ariel's voice continues. The voice speaks yet another magic word, and an air elemental appears as a whirlwind. Meanwhile, you notice something moving among the branches. Your enemy is slowly trying to climb down a tree. You can't see him well. He seemed young, judging by the voice, but you don't understand why he's so exhausted. Now, though, you have a serious problem to take care of. Should you attack the elemental or the wizard? There's no way you can win against the elemental. You have a knife in your hand, and you throw it at the wizard. As soon as the blade hits the sorcerer's back, the elemental disappears. You unsheath your short sword and face Ariel. He's not as young as you thought. The man is losing blood, and a rivulet drips down his lips. This is it, Ariel. Something to say?
You were clever. You forced me to use all the spells at my disposal.
That's an interesting outlook. You don't have much time before he dies, but you want to know more. What should you ask him? How do I defeat a water wizard?
With fire, of course.
He replies, coughing.
Why did you come looking for me?
You're an outcast, guilty of magical experiments. Your people made us like this. He bursts into laughter, which is abruptly stopped by coughs.
Who gave you my name?
The Sylphs. They said there's only 4 of you left. You didn't follow Raymond's rules to create new races.
Now I see. Well, believe what you must, but this isn't the truth.
Ariel replies, with a bitter smile. He coughs some more. You only have time for one more question. Do you want to know the truth behind his words? Or are you sure he's lying to distract you? Tell me everything, then.
We refused to.
Ariel can't end his sentence. He gasps for air one last time and dies. You couldn't get the information you wanted, and you start to doubt everything. Your only hope to find out the truth is to go back to the Sylphs and look for the water wizard who created you. It'll be a nice inner struggle for you. Finally, the Sylphs have revealed the last name, the name of the wizard who created you. It's a powerful water wizard who dwells in the most impervious place in Hesperia, the cold desert of Leganison, north of the continent. He couldn't have chosen a better place to hide, but your new resourceful friends managed to find his exact location. It's a huge frozen lake bordering with Tibosh, which is exactly where you're now headed. You've come to your last purpose, your final destination, to kill the wizard who created you. To kill Fellain. The landscape surrounding you is silent. The sky is gray and the world is cold. The earth beneath your feet is as black as night, dusty and volcanic. Along your journey, you asked for information about the lake, which wasn't hard to get, mostly because everyone knew exactly where it is. But they also warned you to stay away from it. However, your only focus is reaching your target. After many days of travel, you finally reach your destination. There it is. A huge frozen lake with a boulder at its center, where you spot a sitting man. Even from the distance separating you, you can see his ebony skin. It seems like he's meditating, his blue robe flapping in the wind around his body. You can ask him to confirm his identity and try to talk to him. Or if you don't want to waste your time, you could just take your bow and loose an arrow and try and kill him right away, even though he is quite far. Are you Fellain, the wizard? You yell at the man.
Who's asking?
He replies with a powerful voice. I'm Ancoran, one of the sylphs you've created, is your rage-filled answer.
I've never created any sylphs, nor used magic in such a way,
he replies. Believing him is quite hard, even though he doesn't really have a reason to lie. But his answer makes you doubt yourself. Would you like to know more? Or attack with your bow, as you would have liked to do earlier? Then why would the other sylphs have lied to me? You ask, curiously.
That's more of a question for them. How many wizards did they have you kill until now?
He asks back. 3. You immediately reply.
And what did they ask as proof? Their blood and staffs?
Fellain insists. He seems to know your story far too well. Something's off. Could it be the sylphs lied to you for their own gain? What should you ask this man? Should you ask him why he knows all these things? Or should you press him to find out the truth? Why do you know all this? You ask, inquiring. You can feel the man looking at you intensely, and you know he doesn't like your hostility.
Lay down your bow, and we can talk more.
Or, you ask, challenging him.
I will take you down,
he replies simply. Should you trust him? Why wouldn't he kill you once you let your guard down? You're more interested in answers than blood right now, so you put away your weapon. The man leaves the boulder on the lake and slowly approaches the shore using his staff as support, without making a sound on the frozen surface. His mastery of the element might be protecting him in this ghostly yet fascinating scenery. Now that he's closer, you notice his thick curly hair and his young, smooth face, with large lips and deep, dark eyes. His face opens in a smile, showing his pearly white teeth.
They sent you to kill me, too.
He isn't asking. He's just making a statement. You don't know what to reply. The truth is obvious, but you're not sure you're ready to end his life now. I'm more interested in what you have to say, you reply.
Upon one condition.
The wizard requires. What? You ask impatiently.
You must tell me the names of the sorcerers you've killed.
What if I don't remember them? Or if I don't want to?
You'll have to leave. Or fight me.
It's not a big struggle. You just have to choose whether you'll answer his question, or if you'll fight him. But can you really remember the names of all the wizards you've killed? Ariel, Liskos, and Sumai, you reply, sure of your answer. The man nods and waves his hand to follow him as he sits on the shore.
The wizards you named deserved to die. At least you were respectful enough to remember their names. Whether for hate or something else, it makes no difference. I will tell you the truth, not the story you long to hear. Then, it will be up to you to believe me.
You sit beside him, enraptured by the situation. I'm curious to hear your tale.
I was one of the teachers at the Tower of Balinor. Back then, Raymond had just allowed experimenting on people and animals, but he soon realized it was a mistake. He had a personal project of the sort as well, but seeing his results, he abandoned it right away. Anyway, I was against it since the beginning, and he banned me from the city. I left then, but always kept up to speed on what was going on. And I wasn't surprised when young Leon Munar chose to leave.
Fellaine takes a deep breath, his gaze lost in the distance. The story is just getting interesting, and you know he has more to tell, so you urge him on. What happened then?
Some wizards started going mad. They would buy children from poor families to go on with their experiments. They were guided by a woman, Lara San. She created the sylphs and became their leader.
The revelation is shocking. A human woman guides the sylphs? A witch? What does she want from you? Why did she have you kill all those other wizards? 1,000 questions rush through your head.
I know you think it's impossible, but it's true.
There are more things you wish to know. You have to ask him. Why did she choose me to kill all of you?
She is trying to create a superior creature, somebody who can contain within all the power of the sylphs and the power of all 4 elements together. To do so, she needs the blood of 4 wizards who mastered 4 different elements and their staffs. Clearly, since she's the witch who will have to carry out the experiment, she doesn't want to risk her life.
What is her power?
Lara San is a seer. She never mastered the elements. This is also why she has always been good at manipulating people. Now she knows you're aware of the truth, and she will learn what you intend to do about it. If you go back seeking vengeance, she will unleash her sylphs against you. If you leave, though, you could start a new life.
And if I asked you to help me?
I'm not suicidal.
The wizard replies. But you already know she will come looking for you anyway.
If you don't kill me, she won't be able to reach her goal. She has already failed.
So, the decision is on me. I'm alone,
We're always alone.
he replies. You have to choose what to do with all of this. Whether to attempt a suicidal mission against the witch, or to leave it all behind and start a new life. You stand up and look straight into Filane's eyes. I'll have my revenge. I'll kill her if it's the last thing I do with my life. The sorcerer shakes his head, bitterly.
And it will be. It will be the last thing you do with your life.
You don't care to listen to anything more he has to say. You head south to have your revenge. You return to the village where it all started. Nobody suspects anything. Dismounting your horse, you shout out the name of the woman you're looking for. Your true creator. Lara-san! Come out! The other sylphs stare at you, shocked. Some of them even unsheath their weapons. A dark-skinned stranger steps out. She claps her hands slowly and sarcastically, laughing at you.
So, you finally discovered the truth. What would you do now? Kill me? In front of all of them? Ready to defend me?
Says the witch. You'd like to, but you know you'd have no way out. Suddenly, a gargantuan water pillar blasts off in the forest, wiping most of your kin away. You have no idea what's happening, but this might be your shot. Lara-san raises her arms, ready to cast a spell. Will you let her cast her magic, or will you attack her right away? You're ready for her attack, but as she casts her spell, you discover it wasn't meant for you. A water blast explodes in the trees and Filane steps out. You have no idea what he's doing here, but it doesn't matter. You have to take advantage of the situation. The village is in chaos, and your target is right in front of you. Filane is out in the open, forced to fight against the sylphs. Lara-san has her eyes set on you, and summons a water pillar to kill you. You can dodge, jumping sideways, or try to counter, exploiting her weakness. You throw your knife right before the witch's spell overwhelms you, tearing you to pieces. As you cry in pain, you hear Lara-san yelling as well. You don't know if you've managed to kill her, but as you take your last breath, you hope you have finally completed your... You're ready for her attack, but as she casts her spell, you jump to the side and roll on the ground, avoiding the spell. Now, you can pounce forward to force the witch into a one-on-one fight, or stay where you are and attack from the distance. Using all your strength, you throw a knife at the witch. Shocked by the sudden attack, Lara-san is unprepared and the blade stabs her throat. At the same time, you feel a pang all through your back and end up face on the ground. You've been hit by an arrow. In death, you're consoled by the awareness of having had your revenge. You jump to the side and roll on the ground, avoiding the spell. Now, you can pounce forward to force the witch. You jump and pin her to the ground. Having the vantage of position, you start punching her face and stomach with fierce blows. Lara-san reacts, kicking you a few feet away. Both of you stand up, facing each other. The witch cleans some blood from her lips. Then, she starts chanting more arcane words of power, ready to cast another spell. Suddenly, you feel a sharp pain on your side, and an arrow stabs the ground right in front of your feet. Someone is getting in the middle of your fight and hurt you. Lara-san However it may go, you have to stop this. You grab a knife and hurl it at your opponent. The blade hits its mark, stabbing the witch's throat. You quickly jump away, avoiding another arrow. The camp is in turmoil. Filane summoned a huge water elemental, which is now destroying everything in its path. The sorcerer runs to your aid, stabbing a knife in the back of the sylph who was attacking you.
Are you all right?
He asks. Just a scratch.
Come, let's go.
He leads you, almost forcefully out of the woods. The sylphs are too intent on fighting for their lives to try to follow you. You leave the forest behind. Once you're far enough, you stop to catch your breath. What are you doing here? You ask the wizard.
I thought you couldn't have handled it on your own.
And now? What do you mean to do?
First, I'll heal your wound. Then I'll head north, or any other place where nobody will come looking for me. If you'll join me, that is.
For the first time in your life, you're truly free to pick your future. I'm sorry, but I'll go my own way. My life is alone.
As you wish. Let me at least heal your wounds.
Filane replies. Despite everything, you don't want any bonds. You don't want to endanger anyone's life. The wizard has been kind, and he helped you out much more than you could have hoped for. But your future is not together.
You're in a crowded, filthy tavern. You can barely remember its name. Several empty glasses are scattered on your table. An attractive prostitute is sitting on your lap, her black curls resting on her ample bosom as she smiles maliciously at you, inflaming your fantasies. Suddenly, a noise from the entrance catches your eye. 3 armed guards are heading to your table. They are obviously Leon's men. One of the guards bows slightly to you.
Sir, the Sovereign wishes to see you.
Well, how could I refuse our beloved Leon? I have just one thing to settle first. You reply, tightening your grip on the prostitute's hips.
We are sorry, sir, but the king ordered us to escort you to him immediately.
He interrupted you, and now he's abusing his authority. He can't even fathom the risk he's taking. You glare at him, but realize he's only following Leon's orders. Snorting, you move the prostitute from your knees and get up. Sorry, darling. Maybe next time.
I'll be waiting, Ankalimo. You're my most passionate lover.
You leave the tavern and the pleasures it offers, and the guards follow after you. You're not too far from the palace, and the alleys are mostly deserted at this time of night. Even though you're unarmed, you're intimidating enough as is, and the guards trailing you will help dissuade anyone who would dare approach you. The royal palace appears straight ahead of you, dimly lit by torches which create a luminous path up to its stone entrance. Sentries are posted everywhere. All the defenses are appropriately deployed. Despite that, you know that an expert assassin, such as yourself, could still easily penetrate this place. You have no need for assistance as you walk through the countless hallways. You know your way around all the rooms of the palace. Finally, you come to 2 huge doors, which are opened for you by a couple of guards. You make your entrance into a long hallway flanked by monumental jet columns. Leon sits comfortably on the other side of the throne chamber. He looks bored and pensive. You try to guess what new mission he might have in store for you. As his rank requires, you pay homage to him by kneeling at the foot of the throne and wait for him to speak.
You're late. Were you drinking at the tavern, or were you enjoying some whore's company?
I was drinking whilst having my way with a whore, my lord. You reply, an amused smirk coloring your face. You both burst into laughter as the mood lightens. He's plotting something. You hope his requests will be reasonable. However, by now you've learned that wizards can't fully understand the limits of normal human beings, particularly of elves.
I need your services. You can move however you see fit. Go south, find the resistance, infiltrate them, and kill their leader if you get the chance. You'll have to gather as much intel on them as you can. I won't be caught off guard when I conquer the last part of Kael'Sanar. Also, you'll need to recruit skilled and trustworthy warriors. I need 2 captains, cunning and renowned, so that the army may follow them blindly. Finally, you need to track down a magic artifact that once belonged to me, though now the weapon's whereabouts are unknown. The Sword of Ruin. It's a rapier with 4 stones set in the hilt. Each stone is a different color, representing nature's elements.
You must choose. It shall be done, my lord. I've already got someone in mind.
I trust your choice, my friend.
Without replying, you stand up, beat a fist on your chest, and take your leave. As you walk back through the hallway, you think of your next move. You have no idea what Leon is trying to accomplish, but you know he's ambitious and dangerous. As for his request, you already know where to look for someone who could suit your needs. Without you even noticing, you're already outside the palace, heading home. You wake up in your house as a dim light filters through the windows, illuminating the only room of your austere dwelling. The only furnishings are a table, 2 chairs, and an ottoman at the foot of the bed. A lamp with a burnt candle sits on the table. You don't particularly love comforts. Luxury is not well suited to you, given your profession and lineage. You get out of bed and go wash your face in the bucket of cold water close to the table. Then, you open the ottoman and get the equipment you think you'll need. Whatever road you choose, you'll have to rely on what you're taking now. Wearing the black leather jerkin, you take the knife bandolier and the wrist crossbow. The poison bolts are secured in the belt of your pants. You stuff the bag you'll be taking with you with some cheese, flatware, a blanket, and a canteen. Once outside, you head to the royal stables to saddle your trusty ride. The guards you cross move at your passage. They despise you, yet they fear you. They don't admire your race. You're an elf, a lab rat, and your fame precedes you. You're not happy with their reaction. You want to be dreaded. Careless of those around you, you head to an isolated complex. It's an old barracks, emitting sinister noises. You hear a low growl, and the sound of something scratching at the ground. Upon opening the door, you find a restless animal behind a metal fence. It calms down as it catches sight of you. You caress its arrow-shaped snout, which ends in an odd, sharp beak. The creature is happy to see you and responds to your touch with a sort of purring noise. Its 4 paws are clawed, and the pointed tail makes it look like a mangy lion. Its massive, muscular body makes it quite an imposing beast. Stay, Gurkhan, stay. You're uncharacteristically sweet to the creature. You'll need to properly prepare him before leaving. All the pieces of its armor are in front of the stable. The Grey Storm is ready about 30 minutes later. You mount it and head to the outside wall. People move out of your way, frightened, as you ride the menacing creature. Like you, Oscar Khan is the result of experiments made by the wizards of Balinor, which is why you feel such a strong bond. You finally reach the outskirts of Remicast and head to... It's late at night as you approach the city gates. The guards search you, asking thousands of questions. The only thing that seems to convince them to let you through is your royal permit. You've been Leon's first real ally, which has helped you countless times. The only thing they require is for you to check your creature into the guardhouse's stable. You agree and recommend they don't leave it with the horses. That might pose a problem. You're in this city because there's a man you know well, and you believe he could introduce you to other reliable individuals. You need to find him first, obviously, but that shouldn't be too hard, given his reputation. You immediately ask the guards where you can find Sargon, and they point you to the Serpent's Tavern. You know where it is. You've been in many cities by now, and you know your way around as well as you do the back of your hand. Nobody is crowding the streets at this time of night. The tavern's entrance isn't terribly gaudy, but the hall is crowded, and the noise is deafening. It doesn't take long for you to notice a colossal man sitting next to the fireplace. He's in the middle of beating another imposing man in an arm wrestling match. On the table, you see a huge triangular shield with a curly giant relief on it. It's Sargon's shield, with his effigy, and he's the man winning the match. You take your first steps to the two rivals' table, but a stranger pushes you carelessly.
We don't want any scum here!
The uproar stops abruptly, and two other men, armed with clubs, come to the stranger's aid. You're surrounded. You didn't conceal your appearance. It didn't even occur to you. You are fully aware new races aren't liked, but you didn't expect such open hostility. You're not too thoughtful. You prefer to act. You need to decide quickly, though, as this may turn into a life or death situation. Unsheathing a knife from your bandolier, you attack the man who threatened you. Unfortunately, though, there are too many opponents, and even as you take one down, the others are upon you. You hear a club whistle towards you and feel the blow to your side. A sort of claustrophobia starts to overtake you, surrounded by so many enemies, until the hall is filled with a roar, and your opponents are violently removed. A devastating force is flinging them away. As you recover, you see an outstretched hand, and Sargon's smiling face. The man helps you up and offers you a seat at his table.
It's been a long time since we last saw each other, Ankalimo.
It has been, Sargon. Thank you for helping me out.
What brings you here?
The giant asks. A mission from my lord.
Interesting. Tell me more.
We're looking for trustworthy people to command the army on a new campaign. Sargon runs his hand along his chin.
Ha-ha! Well, you found one.
Your lips curl up in a satisfied smile. You knew heading straight for him would be the right choice. I need another one, of course. Have you any idea where I could find him?
Yes, but it'll cost ya.
How much?
10 gold pieces.
Sargon commands. All right. Your help is worth it.
Great then. A toast.
Sargon raises a hand to call for the waitress, who promptly arrives with 2 tankards brimming with beer. Sargon finishes his tankard, and the man behind your back sits next to you. He's muscular, with long black hair and a face that seems set in stone. His hard eyes reveal a genuine smile. Who are you? You ask him.
Urar, Sargon's comrade in arms.
replies the new entry. I see you're well protected. You resume talking to Sargon.
Being a mercenary has its perks, mostly financially. You could abandon Leon and join us.
You decline the offer with a gesture. It doesn't seem convenient. Leon already provides for anything you need, and that's fine for now. He'll consider any interesting proposals in the future, if need be. So, we need to find this guy. What do you think?
I'll show you where to find him and help you out until I can't. After, you'll have to deal with him yourself.
Sargon replies. That sounds like you were just ripped off. You paid a lot of money, and still you'll need to work alone. Alright, tell me everything.
His name's Garrett. He's my free company's business partner. Once he has a contract, he sees it through and won't accept any other mission. He's trustworthy and dedicated to the cause he's paid for. He knows taking back his word might compromise future engagements.
Sargon got to you. You can trust him. Great. Let's go see Garrett immediately. Sargon raises a hand and stops you.
You'll go get him. Then we'll meet again and talk rewards.
He adds, seriously. Something isn't right. You already paid handsomely for his advice, and for the help he's doling out. It isn't quite like Sargon to act like this, and you'd like to understand what's going on. Why do I need to go get him alone?
Garrett is inconvenienced right now. He's in a cage outside the city jail, publicly hanging. He's waiting for his execution, which will take place in a couple of days. Before you ask any more questions, I'll try to explain the situation better. We didn't free him because they're keeping their eyes on us. The soldiers know his reputation, and they know our company is in town. We have the means to free him, but not to free him without being seen. It'd be a disaster for business, and Garrett understands that. You're here now, though. Even if you're found while freeing him, should anyone get killed, we'd still get out scot-free. Of course, Garrett could never be seen here again, but a contingent of our company could stay here in Rannon permanently. The profits would run, and we'd all be happy.
It looks like you have more of a guild than a free company, you reply. Sargon laughs and dismisses the whole issue with a gesture.
Maybe. Now, this is the situation. What do you want to do?
It seems to me as if you're saying you won't move without Garrett. I don't have a lot of time, so I have to accept. I'll free your friend. A genuine smile appears on Sargon's face, followed by Uriah, who listens quietly. You believe there are more mercenaries in the tavern, but can't identify them.
How do you intend to go at it?
Sargon resumes. There are two ways. One is quick and straightforward, though it might lead to some deaths, including mine. The other is through a bit of diplomacy. It's slower, but much safer.
You are the one breaking him out. It's up to you.
Sargon decides.
So, what are you going to do?
Sargon asks. I'll try with a diplomatic approach. Let's see how that works out. You won't have any problems if it doesn't work. I'll be dead. The man smirks and shakes his head.
Good luck, Ankalimo.
You take your leave and head to the prison. The roads aren't too crowded, and you don't even look at the bystanders at this time of night. You reach the barracks and prison. The cage with the prisoner, who is obviously Garrett, is in plain sight, just a few steps forward. 2 sentries guarding the door, facing your way. They notice you and worry. You can't blame them. You're armed to the teeth. You stop at a suitable distance, hands open as a peace sign. You couldn't do it any other way. The soldiers are ordering you to stop, weapons in hands.
Who are you? What do you want?
The barracks is already getting lively. More troops come out, following a stocky, round-faced man. He's the high-ranking officer, even though he's not particularly intimidating. You answer the sentry's questions, facing the man in charge. My name is Ankalimo. I am an envoy of His Majesty, Leon Munar.
Can you prove it?
The captain of the guards asks. I have a royal permit. Can I take it?
Yes, but no rash moves.
You obey the order and give him the paper. He almost rips it out of your hands. He's nervous, but relaxes after reading it.
Lower the weapons!
He orders his subordinates.
What brings you here?
I need your prisoner, you tell him, pointing at the cage behind you. Garrett is a servant of the crown and must be released. Leon requires him for a mission of the utmost importance.
This isn't ordinary.
The captain stutters. What's your name?
Cebus.
Well, Seabass, would you refuse a direct order of Lord Munar?
No, but it is strange. An order in the dead of the night?
I have just arrived in town, and I learned of Garrett's whereabouts only minutes ago. Would you rather I showed up after the execution? Or would you like the next one to be yours? Cebus pales.
Free the prisoner, now!
The soldiers lower the cage and hand Garrett over to you. The man remains silent. He seems dehydrated and battered, but he's visibly relieved. He heard the whole conversation and is curious to know what's going on. Thank you, Cebus. I'll mention your name to Lord Munar and make sure you'll be handsomely repaid. Without adding anything else, you turn on your heels and, together with your prisoner, walk through the alleys of the city. The soldiers watch you in awe. Even though you're an assassin, you're smart and clever enough to know when bloodshed isn't necessary. Once you've gotten far enough from the prison, Garrett stops.
Who are you?
I'm a friend. My name is Ankalimo. Now, let's hurry up. I need to tell Sargon you're free.
Tell him I'll be waiting at the headquarters. He'll know what I mean.
Can you go alone? You don't seem too fresh. Garrett looks dehydrated, and his face is gaunt.
I'll deal.
You take your leave and head back to the tavern without raising any suspicions. You've lost track of time, but the lights are dim and it appears to be closing. Sargon and his friend are on the threshold, smoking their pipes.
So?
It's done. Garrett said he'll be waiting at the headquarters.
Let's go.
Sargon replies. Sargon leads you to their headquarters, an abandoned house with barred windows and an unhinged door. However, inside you find everything a free company might need. The outside is just smoke and mirrors. Underground, a maze of hallways winds through several rooms. It's a true and proper base of operations. You head to Garrett's chambers, where he's stocking up on wine and food. Sargon welcomes him back warmly. They exchange a few jokes, and finally, Garrett turns to you and starts talking.
I owe you my life, Ankalimo, and I always pay my debts. Here's a bag with 20 gold coins. It will allow you to do whatever you want from here on out.
He points at a leather satchel, with a larger one standing next to it.
This one, instead, is an offer to join us. We are offering you 50 gold coins to be our most trusted man. I saw the way you approached the whole thing. Even though you thought I was sleeping, we could use you. With us, you could be filthy rich.
The offer is definitely tempting. Do you take your money and join them, leaving Leon behind? Or will you decline their offer, explaining why you came to them in the first place? I am terribly sorry, but I can't. I have been entrusted by Leon, my lord, with the task of finding 2 trustworthy men to lead his army. One has already accepted, and suggested you to be the other. Sargon can be very persuasive, and he's a skilled warrior. Garrett won't be impressed by your words.
How could I refuse? After you saved my life, it's just everything has a price.
Sargon required to be paid in silver coins. Since you'll be joining me and Lord Munar, it's only fair you have the same reward. The down payment is only half of what you'll be getting once your job is over. 10 gold coins each.
And where would this money be?
Garrett starts laughing. There it is. You'll open it and share its contents. After all, it was my reward for saving you. Lord Munar will give you the rest personally as soon as you have achieved your mission with the army. The two soldiers of fortune exchange glances, bursting into a thunderous laughter.
I like you, man. You're brazen enough. We accept.
Garrett continues. You shake his hand and show the two their tasks. You'll head to Remagast. There you'll wait for me at the Scorpion Inn. I need to attend to a couple of things and get my ride back. Could take me a few days, but if I fail to show up in a couple of weeks, it means I'm dead and you will be relieved of your orders.
You have my word.
Sargon swears. Mercenaries don't care for written contracts, and Sargon always keeps his word. You take your leave and head back to the inn to sleep and take your ride. You need to get your mind in order before leaving again. Once you have taken care of all your tasks and a bit of personal business, you'll go back to Leon. After 2 days of traveling, you reach the city of Snellfoss. It's inviting and teeming with people. Despite reaching the town's gates at dusk, the crowd is still hard at work. The gods stop you for a hasty control. The way you look, combined with the beast you're riding, are clear signs of danger. But you're released as soon as you show them your royal permit. You've already been here, and you know where to find knaves, arms dealers, and most importantly, snitches. So, you head to the Scorpion Inn. It's a large venue, which fuels many brawls every night. An elf with such a weird ride is bound to receive all the attention, which is exactly what you wish, given your current venture. You opt to leave the Greystorm in the empty horse stables outside. The stables are unlikely to receive any other occupants, with your steed taking up all the available space, which is a shame for Gurkhan, as he wouldn't mind a good meal. You head inside and take your seat at a lonely table close to the fireplace, warm and unnoticed. The tavern isn't crowded yet, but as soon as people hear of your arrival, the most curious will step forward. A serf welcomes you and takes your order. She soon brings you the lamb stew and dark ale you asked for. You give her a couple of silver coins and enjoy your warm meal and fresh drink. Meanwhile, the place fills with customers, whom you promptly analyze. You notice several woodsmen, as well as some gods. At another table, a reserved man hides under his hood's shadow. It's about time to begin. Once outside, you look for the hooded man, but the darkness has masked his departure. You try to take some of the nearby alleys in an attempt to track him, but to no avail. You pause to think about your next move. You feel something stinging you at the base of your back and freeze. You recognize it as the tip of a knife, and curse yourself for your distraction.
Why are you following me, elf?
His dark voice seems to come from the obscurity beyond his hood. I'm looking for someone to take me to the Resistance. You answer immediately, without stalling. The stranger sheaths his dagger and takes off his hood. He's an elf, like you.
Why would I know anything about it?
He replies, lying could get you in trouble, but you can't betray your mission. Revealing your identity and your intentions, or saying one word too many, could very well be the end of you. You're a clever assassin. You could recognize an unfavorable position, so you try to buy some time. Of everyone here, You are the only one who hit his face. I had to get your attention and hope for an encounter. Given your secrecy, I take it you're a recruiter. His eyes light up. Bullseye. Now you need to find out everything he knows about you.
You piqued my interest the moment you came in. I wondered why you were in town, showing everyone your features. I figured right away you were looking for a member of the Resistance, and I wanted to test you.
So?
You've proved you're clever. I like that. But before we go any further, what do you know of the origin of our race?
As in?
As in, how were we born? Why?
He adds, the wrong answer is a death penalty. That much is sure. You tell him the truth. Or at least, your version of it. Raymond approved magic experiments on humans. A congregation of wizards, however, didn't follow his rules, and some experiments went awry. We are the results of that dark age. The elf bursts into laughter.
Your tale is quite simplistic. The truth is much more complex. Raymond gave wizards the opportunity to imbue magic in whomever didn't possess it. His intentions were good. However, many people misunderstood them, Leon Munar above all the others, based on the rumors. I don't know whether Leon actually took part in any of those experiments, but he is certainly the greatest wizard who ever existed since Triumvar, and the most dangerous.
The elf pauses before resuming his speech, as you ponder about what you just heard.
My purpose is to recruit anyone who wishes to join the Resistance to fight Leon, but also anyone who wants vengeance against wizards, killing all of them.
This revelation upsets you. It's a dangerous statement which cannot be taken lightly. The tale this elf, of whom you still don't know anything about, speaks of is the truth. Wizards are the cause of your fate. They forced you into marginalization to settle for a shorter life. You quiver in anger, but Leon is your friend, and you know for a fact he never took part in any such experiment. However, he is dangerous, and wizards have lost all your respect. You could let it go and leave, but that would mean making an enemy of this elf. It might be unwise. Joining the Resistance is your first task, what Leon ordered you to do, and you would stay loyal to his cause. Seeking revenge would set you in the opposite direction. The first person you should wish dead would be Leon himself, despite your friendship. I could find my place in the Resistance. I'd give my life for the cause. The elf doesn't know you at all, which helps make your lie more believable.
Very well. First, though, I need to test your loyalty. There's a lizard man in town. Rumor has it he's bound to Leon Munar. His name is Farion. You must find and kill him. Then we shall meet again, and I'll tell you where to go.
It looks like a risky game. Killing an ally might prove dangerous. You could still leave. However, Leon knows some sacrifices must be made to achieve your task. How will I find you? I don't even know your name. Everything is moving forward quickly. You are ready to complete the mission Leon entrusted to you, even if it means killing some measly ally.
Names aren't important. I don't know yours either. I'll find you. Now, get to work.
You nod and resume your nightly stroll without looking back. Your ride can stay put for now. You'll start tracking your prey immediately. Now that you've taken your leave from the elf, you feel more at ease. You find him intimidating. He's more dangerous than you could ever be. And he knows the city. You need to gather some information on the lizard man. Finding him shouldn't be too hard. Lizard men aren't common. But such a rare specimen would probably want to hide out in the suburbs. You head to the shadiest districts of Snellfoss, looking for a gambling joint. You know by experience that this could be his headquarters. As you roam around the neighborhood, you keep your eyes wide open, looking for any suspicious movement. It's not easy. The whole area is bustling with prostitutes, thieves, and victims. Meanwhile, you don't want anyone coming near you. Your pointy ears raise no suspicions in this part of Snellfoss. They might be a great benefit, if well employed. You run into a couple of men in an alley. They are arguing excitedly with someone else, whom you can't quite make out. The two thugs are robust and their gestures are as clear as day. They're threatening the other man. They might be henchmen of the Lizard Man, or they may at least know him. If you were to follow your instincts, you'd just go over there right now. But reasons suggest following them, unseen, to approach them later. I have a room at an inn in a quieter neighborhood. You reply, smiling.
Then have a good night. I'll be waiting for you here tomorrow.
The position you're in isn't favorable for action. Varian is facing you and there are no weapons in sight. But the movement to take yours would be too slow. Perhaps you could immobilize and strangle him with your bare hands. You need to kill him now, but the two henchmen might come running. Alternatively, you could try your luck fighting a powerful and muscular creature. You crouch to get the dagger in your boot. It just takes a fraction of a second, more than enough. Varian is surprised. He recognized you and trusted you. He watches, helplessly, as the dagger flies against his face. It stabs his right eye, piercing through his skull. The lizardman drops down with a thud. You hurry to get the dagger before the two thugs come in. Just in time, the first one enters and you throw your blade once more, hitting the man's throat. You jump on the corpse to get his sword and attack the other one. Doesn't take more than a few blows to defuse the threat. Without wasting any more time, you retrieve your belongings and head for the inn, wishing for a calm and restful night. The next morning, you wake up feeling fresh and rested. The night was demanding, but it did bear good results. The elf is sitting in a corner of the room. He's just as dangerous as you thought. You didn't hear him come in. He could have done anything he wanted. Instead, he waited for you to wake up.
Very well. Get ready. We're going south.
1,000 questions rush through your head, but you don't say anything. The first part of this new adventure is just beginning. The journey south with your silent partner was quite smooth. Nobody bothered you, and you quickly covered the distance separating you from Ismarin. The sentries spot you at the forest border. Recognizing your escort, they lead you to the rebels' camp without revealing his name. The elf is clearly respected and trusted. As you're accustomed to, you memorize the route to the clearing. Your Greystorm is treated much like a normal pet. After all, the camp is teeming with many different races. Some you didn't even know existed. Everyone is partaking in the resistance against Leon. They have no idea it was Raymond who allowed these terrible experiments and warped their lives forever. The elf signals for you to follow him inside a pavilion. He introduces you to Raymond, the only man in the tent.
You must be Ankalimo.
The wizard salutes you. And you must be Raymond.
Indeed. Our friend is telling me you helped us out quite a bit, so you're allowed into the resistance. I wanted to welcome you personally. Looks like your abilities as a hitman are noteworthy. I have a task for you. We found out there's a mole here working for Leon. He has killed several of our key men. Find out who it is, and get rid of him.
Do you have any clues? You need to play along.
One of our wizards was able to survive an attack and wounded the man's arm. He lost this knife.
The High Wizard shows you a Chris, a dagger with an asymmetrical curved blade.
He strikes on moonless nights, always within the village. We've been on to him for a long time now, but despite our efforts, he hasn't stopped killing the wizards of the camp.
Raymond explains. I might have a few options. You answer confidently.
Which are?
It's likely that the killer is the elf standing beside you, or perhaps a henchman working for him. In any case, he must be fully aware of everything. That's an issue you need to solve. He'll try to stop you, attempting to anticipate your moves. You could gather the wizards, though that would offer the assassin the chance to kill them all with one hit. Or you could take up a hidden position in the night in some strategic place on site, preferably somewhere high. However, they've already tried that to no avail. Finally, you could split the rebels up into several groups, camping around fires. Shifts of 2 guards at a time could watch over them. Still, keeping everything under control would be hard, and you'd risk the hitman changing his pattern. A moonless night is about to fall, and your main goal is to annihilate the resistance, not help it. What will you do? I'll hide among the trees to try to figure out where the hitman will attack from. Raymond looks at you, pensively.
We already tried that. It wasn't helpful. You might be skilled enough to make that work, though. I'll trust you, Ankalimo. Good luck.
I won't let you down. You take your leave, and your escort leads you to the lodging you've been assigned. He doesn't utter one word, keeping to himself. But you've already figured out that he has his own agenda. Eliminating all wizards would fulfill his revenge plans. Helping the rebellion means going up against Leon, who is a wizard himself. Will he try to stop you, or will he indulge you? He's obviously going to keep his eyes on you, and he'd kill you if he were to find out your real intentions. You sleep for a while on a straw mattress, waking up at dinner time. The other members of the Resistance wish to get to know you, exchange a few words. You can't see the elf anywhere, which is a bit worrisome. Finally, you take your leave from the meal and pretend to head back to your tent. You hide among the trees surrounding the clearing. It's going to be a long and demanding night. The campfires continue burning for a long time, until finally, the rebels start going to sleep. You walk stealthily through the village, until a cry disquiets the night. You didn't notice anything peculiar, but you know you failed your task. You turn to where the scream came from, but your mysterious escort blocks your way.
End of the line, Ankalimo.
This man is dangerous. He knows too much about you and has been studying you for a long time. He might have spared you, if only you'd let him burn the pavilion. Now, he's ready to fight you, face to face. He's an elf, just like you, but he seems more experienced. You'll have to be clever to get out of this. You could hurl a knife at him. The attack would be swift, but clear as day. He could deviate the weapon and force you into a close-quarter fight. You could unsheath your sword and face him head-on. But you're an assassin, not a warrior. He might be more skilled at this. Finally, you could use your wrist crossbow, even though the dart is much smaller than a knife. A wise and clever move, which doesn't allow the opponent to study you. You raise your arm and in the blink of an eye shoot the dart, catching the elf by surprise. The arrow pierces your opponent's throat, and he drowns in his own blood. You have no time to look for Raymond now. The duel you just fought wouldn't help you look any better to the rebels. You've just arrived, and nobody would believe you had nothing to do with the ambush. You need to flee, abandoning your mission as a mole. You retrieve your Greystorm and vanish in the night. You reach one of the most renowned cities of Kael'Sanar, the flourishing Balinor. However, its prosperity is merely a legacy of the past. The ancient Tower of Magic has mostly crumbled, no more than ruins. The town's citizens live in modest houses, they live off the land, and business only continues in the form of small trade. There are no guards protecting the city gates, and everyone moves away as you come through. Your journey was brief, and the sun shines high in the sky. If you've come for information, you need to know exactly where to look and who to talk to, as nobody will trust you. Unless you notice the bystanders belong to several races. No human still lives in the city. Therefore, you deduce the Greystorm is probably causing the diffidence. A witch now guides the crumbling city of Balinor. Leon didn't care to expand his dominion here, mostly because, as you can see firsthand, it's not worth it. Where can I find the witch running this place? You ask the crowd. An old man steps up.
Melius is in that stone hut.
He points at the only brick building still standing. All the other structures are made of wood. As you head over, you leave your ride tied to a pole. Nobody will dare bother it. Knocking on the door, it opens right away. A charming figure appears on the threshold. She's slim, with jet black hair and a young, sharp face. Her deep, almond-shaped eyes are breathtaking. Melius is an elf.
Well?
She has a brusque tone. I'm on a mission on Leon Munar's behalf.
Good for you.
She replies.
What do you want?
Information. She studies you head to toe and smirks, seemingly pleased.
Everything has its price.
You don't quite catch her meaning, but you accept her invitation to enter. The door closes behind you, and she welcomes you to a cozy room, warm and scented. It's filled with colorful furniture and innumerable books and stills. You also notice that the house is much bigger than you thought.
Can I offer you a warm beverage?
Nodding, you accept her offer. You turn your head to follow her, almost forgetting what brought you here. You observe as she fills the kettle with water, hooking it above the burning fireplace.
So, who are you, and what are you looking for?
She asks. My name is Ankalimo. Leon sent me to gather information on a lost artifact.
The Sword of Ruin.
How?
It's the only object that could interest such a wizard. The only thing that could turn his attention to Balinor.
You know where I could find it? You ask the witch.
You'll have to pay first.
How much?
It's been a long time since I've last had a male visiting this place.
I'd never turn down such an offer. But how can I trust you? I've only just met you.
You're clever,
she replies.
I like that in a man. I've been alone for a long time, Ankalimo, and you're a very attractive elf. I'm looking for a mate to share my bed with. Even more, perhaps. But the bed will do just fine for now.
The woman's earnestness floors you. There's no ambiguity in her voice. But you're not that kind of person. Her beauty, however, does have an effect on you. It'd only be a one-time thing, of course. Besides, Melius is a witch. If she wanted to bend you to her will, she'd have done so easily. I pale at your charm. I'll be happy to spend some time with you. She smiles and invites you to her bedroom. An intoxicating scent lingers in the air. It's been a long time since you've been with a woman. Well, you've always paid for it. You get lost in each other's arms, melting into a burning and passionate intercourse. You've never felt something quite like this. Your heart is brimming with joy, and the pleasure is all-encompassing. You wonder if Melius is using her magic to render everything better, if not more. What is this connection you feel to her? She's painstakingly beautiful, but that can't be all. You have no idea how much time has passed, and you're still in bed when she upholds her side of the bargain.
There's a collector of rare objects in Rost, close to the border. Somebody reported seeing the sword in his private collection.
Are you sure?
That's all I've heard. You'll have to find out yourself. Unless you wish to stay here with me and let go of Leon's madness.
Her proposal surprises you. Suddenly, your world could change. Tempting as your offer may be, my lord relies on me. I'll be back once I'm done. You reply firmly. She shrugs, getting off the bed and putting her clothes back on. Her face is clouded.
What else could I expect? We just met, but life's so short for us.
She sighs. She pauses briefly and continues.
Go on your way, Ankalimo. If destiny wishes, we'll meet again one day.
You watch as her alluring silhouette heads to another room. Reluctantly, you get up and dress too. Part of you would like to stay, but Leon's mission is more important. After a few days' travel on your Grey Storm, you reach Rost, a small commercial town bordering T-Bosch. The place is bustling with merchants and convoys. There are so many different races and animals that you and Gurkhan don't even stand out. Many soldiers are watching the village, but they seem bored and distracted. Rost is a quiet place, where guilds rule all trades. It's not a large city. It's merely a small town with a close circle of wealthy lords, of whom you can see the houses of, on 2 hills. You presume the collector you're looking for lives in one of those sumptuous dwellings. You approach a soldier to ask for information. I'm looking for a collector of precious items. They told me I could find such a man here. The soldier kindly points you to one of the houses you noticed.
Ask for Lord Gorlakin, but I doubt he'll see you without an appointment and with such equipment.
Oh, I'm just an envoy. I think the Lord will see me immediately, as soon as he reads the letter by my lord. The guard shrugs and loses all interest in you. In any other circumstance, you would have been flooded with questions. You finally head to the white complex, which contrasts with the pink one close by. As soon as you reach the supervised gate, 2 soldiers stop you and ask you for your identity and for your reason for visiting. My name is Ankalimo. I am an envoy of King Leon Munar. I would see Lord Gorlakin for business. You show your royal permit. The guard examines you and reads the paper.
Everything seems in order. You'll have to leave all your weapons here, though. Your animal can stay in the stables here.
Without objecting, you hand over all your weapons, even the ones you were concealing. You wouldn't want to give the wrong impression. They have to trust you. You take Gurkhan to the stables, escorted by the soldier who stopped you at the gate. They are extremely large and host several Grey Storms like yours, as well as other creatures which seem to come straight from fairy tales. You assume the Lord is a magic enthusiast. This must be the right place. Finally, the guard takes you to the building's door. The property is teeming with people, mostly servants intent on all kinds of tasks. You can feel that everyone is happy to be hard at work. You take your seat in a large hall with chairs lined with burgundy pillows as the guard calls for his lord. You don't have to wait long. Leon's name is an effective means of persuasion. A tall and toned middle-aged man welcomes you. He has long, streaked hair. His face is marked by several scars, and as he stretches his hand to shake yours, it feels as if you're gripping a chunk of marble. He's definitely a former fighter.
Welcome, Uncle Emo. I'm Gorlakin. So what do I owe the pleasure of a visit from Leon Munar's envoy?
His deep and kind voice doesn't give off any sign of fear or uncertainty. Thank you for receiving me without any notice, Lord Gorlakin. His Majesty sends me here for your collection of weapons and other rare items. He'd like me to see it before making an offer on some of your pieces. You say with friendliness.
Please, just call me Gorlakin. I don't care for lip service. I'm extremely honored for His Majesty's interest. However, I must warn you, not all pieces are for sale. But first, let's see if there's anything you are interested in.
He smiles and takes 2 crystal glasses from a sideboard. He pours an aged wine in both, offering you one.
My collection is so wide and full of history, we'll be parched by the end of it.
You raise your glass and toast with your host. The wine is of outstanding taste, and you sip it carefully, afraid it might inebriate your senses. After the welcome drink, Gorlakin takes you upstairs through a series of refined hallways and chambers. Hanging on every wall are weapons, suits of armor, and jewels of all kinds. None of them have any magical properties. They are just amazing artifacts of rare craftsmanship.
I took this during a fight in Athenios. It's one of my favorites. I made a fortune and got good fame, working as a soldier of fortune.
Says Gerlachen, visibly proud. You drink in all the information and keep your eyes wide open. Is there any piece you are particularly proud of? Gerlachen swells up.
Come with me.
You follow him to another hall with a glass display case. Hanging by a copper thread is a magnificent, polished rapier. 4 different colored stones are set in the hilt. You recognize it right away without having to hear his explanation, which simply confirms your theory.
This is the legendary Sword of Ruin. It's a magical artifact, the only one I know. It was forged years ago to stop the Emperor Triumvalo Tonor, and was brandished by the mighty Daragast Lear himself.
What are its virtues?
It can hinder all the elements. Earth, air, water, and fire can't harm anyone wielding this blade. With this rapier, it is possible to face any wizard on a leveled playing field.
The Lord explains. Of all your pieces, this is the only one that could interest my lord. How much for it? You ask, getting straight to the point. The man shakes his head.
It's not for sale.
Not even to Leon Munar? You hope your lord's name might change the collector's mind. However, Gerlachen doesn't seem swayed at all.
This object is far too rare. Nobody could pay the sum it's worth, not even Leon Munar.
I'm sorry, my lord. I didn't mean to offend you. If you don't wish to sell it, I shall respect your decision. Let's resume our tour. The man nods and you resume your walk. Meanwhile, you assess the safety measures the former mercenary has employed. Even though there is a lot of surveillance, many of the house's visitors are errand boys who supply the complex with provisions. You could sneak in the kitchen at night and steal the rapier. You exchange a few more words before Gerlachen personally accompanies you to the door.
I'll be waiting for your lord's reply then.
He tells you with a genuine smile, I'll need just a few days, and I'll let you know what my master wishes to purchase. You shake hands and you take your gray storm and head to a brothel. You need to relax and clear your head before you act. You leave your ride at the whorehouse's stables. It seems like any place here is fit to hold magical creatures. Rost is truly a bizarre town. Planning the heist took you all night. The prostitute you met was well worth the money you spent. Leaving Gurkhan at the stables, you take a walk around town as you most see fit. A light breeze is blowing in the morning air, and you ponder on what seems to be the best way to retrieve the artifact. The town seems like a mere backdrop for your grand deed. You know the Sword of Ruin, and you're sure you can't be wrong. Walking through the market, savoring its perfumes and scents, you familiarize yourself with what will be your stage. The people of the place, busy in their daily routine, walk right by you as you pretend to look around. Actually, you're keeping an eye on Lord Gerlachen's mansion. Ordinary lives keep cycling around you. It would be so easy for you to annihilate them. Your target is right beyond the market stands, over the white brick wall which separates the houses from the street. Your fit mind lingers on all possibilities, on the security flaws, and on the way you'll sneak in and get the elemental sword. Lord Gerlachen is a former mercenary. Like many other soldiers of fortune who spend their lives on the battlefield, he has a lavish lifestyle. A little before noon, the back entrance to the estate becomes the destination for many servants who bring food and rarities from all over the world. Hiding in one of the barrels would be way too easy. Once inside, you could wait for nightfall in the kitchen, then you could roam the darkened halls alone, take the object, and leave through any one of the windows. The plan certainly has some flaws. The servants bringing the barrel will be punished for sure, or worse. And you can't exclude any inspection, or assume that the servants themselves won't find you. Your eyes turn to the front facade of the house, which is kept under extreme surveillance. You notice a few attractive girls sitting on the garden's wall, talking and laughing. At least one of them will be spending the night pleasuring the lord of the house. Prostitutes are usually simple enough, fully aware of their social status, and easy to bribe. With some incentive, the right girl could leave a window open for the night, so you just have to climb up the house. Then, as for the previous plan, you'll head straight to the collection and take the sword. Of course, loyalty can't be bought with money. The girl could lie to you, and you might find a closed window and a lighter purse. Your last plan involves the lonely art of the shadows. You'd use all your martial training and distractions to get rid of the guards at the door, break in, and take out anyone who stands in your path to the sword. You wouldn't have to bet on money, but you'd have many more lives on your conscience, admitting you still have one. Besides, you'd risk running into Gerlachen if he'll be awake. You approach the group of girls who are talking gaily and laughing. They watch you with an elusive glance, and you decide to exchange a few words with them. You need to try and understand whether they'll enter the collector's home. One in particular looks interested in you, or at least in your purse.
Want to come with me tonight? I'll be a guest at Gorlachen's, but I don't like common foot soldiers. You look exotic.
She smiles. Could we discuss this someplace more private? You whisper in her ear. She accepts your offer and the two of you head down a deserted alley. The prostitute misunderstood your intentions and offers to pleasure you, but you're focused on the mission at hand. I need you to do something for me.
What?
Tonight, you'll have to enter the Lord's mansion. I don't care who you'll be with. Just leave a window open for me on that side. You point at the exact place.
It'll cost you a bit.
You hand over a satchel much heavier than she expected, and she stares at you. It's 20 silver coins. If you betray me, or don't do as I asked, I will kill you. Without giving her any time to reply, you turn and leave. You decide to wait for darkness by roaming through the town. You're well aware people will do anything out of fear, or for money. Night falls. From the alley you're hiding in, you spot a window being opened on the side you agreed upon with the girl. She upheld her part of the agreement. Now it's up to you. You approach the house stealthily and untie your rope belt. The buckle is a grapple, a clever way to hide the tools of the trade, yet always have them within your reach. Before throwing the rope, you take one last look around to make sure nobody is watching. Only lovers are awake at this time of night. Once inside, you find yourself in a room dimly lit by a lamp. No one is waiting for you. The harlot was clever. You spent your money well. You take one deep breath, grab the lamp, and head silently through the deserted hallways. Thanks to the inspection on the previous day, you find the room with the sword right away. You open the display case and take it, tying it to your hip. Now, you just need to retrieve your ride and leave Rost. Your mission was a success. Your only loss was monetary. You're now far from Rost. Before choosing where to head next, you preferred to put some distance between yourself and Lord Gerlachen. Unfortunately, you weren't fast enough. As you're running full speed with your Greystorm, a burning flash grazes you, stabbing the ground ahead. The Collector has many assets, including a squad of wizards at his disposal. However, you have an extremely powerful weapon at your side, and even the most powerful wizards get tired using their skills, just like swordsmen. Turning around, you see there is only one man riding a horse on your tail. He's wielding a staff and wears a fluttering red tunic. He's about to unleash another spell. Will you turn your ride and charge at the enemy? Run away as fast as you can? Or wait for the wizard to release his next spell, only to neutralize it with the Sword of Ruin? Hoping it will work, you unsheath the rapier and turn Gurkhan. You charge at the wizard who didn't expect such a bold move. He tries to attack you once more but misses. As you approach him with the rapier pointing at his chest, he hastily hurls another fire arrow at you. The burning dart hits the Sword of Ruin, melting it in mere seconds. This wasn't supposed to happen. You've been conned, but you can't stop to think about that just yet. You need to end this fight. The Grey Storm rushes head-on against the horse, mauling at its neck and unsaddling the wizard. You turn Gurkhan to face the stunned man on the ground. The creature bites his head off, gulping it down without even chewing it. Perhaps the collector himself didn't even know the sword was a fake. Otherwise, he'd never send a wizard after you. You reluctantly leave the rapier's hilt behind. You've just wasted your time here. Now, you need to choose your next move. You've finally finished tending to all your tasks. It's time to return to Remagast. When entering the city, you're recognized right away. Also, due to your Grey Storm. First, you head to the inn where you agreed you'd meet with Sargon and Garrett. As the two come down the stairs, they nod at you. You approach them, smiling, greeting them as warriors. You sit down at a table and order breakfast. It's still early morning. So, how are you? How are you liking the city? You ask for small talk.
Warm and chaotic. Everyone's in frenzy from Satrapor's forthcoming siege here. Leon has put everyone to work.
Sargon replies. Well then, let's have breakfast and head over to him. At the palace, you're quickly announced in, and Leon welcomes you smiling. He can't wait for the news you gathered on your mission. You kneel down before him, Sargon and Garrett behind you.
Welcome back, my friend,
says the king. Thank you, Leon. It's a troublesome period. I hope I served you the best I can.
I'm sure you have. Now stand.
You all obey, and Leon studies your friends. These are Sargon and Garrett, the men I chose to guide your army. They're strong, reliable, and precise. They are extremely experienced and will follow your orders to the detail, if well paid. Leon smiles. They're mercenaries, but they seem perfect for your needs.
Very well. Now, wait outside. I'll have you called in a while. I want to know how you'll prepare my army. First, though, and Kalimo has something to tell me.
The two bow down and leave the throne room. You'll face clouds. Not all missions went as Leon would have wanted.
So, and Kalimo, tell me.
Should you tell him about the resistance first? Or should you start with the Sword of Ruin?
Where is the Sword of Ruin?
I couldn't find it. I managed to infiltrate them, but I had to abandon the mission. There are a lot of them, some of them wizards, and Raymond is set on taking you down. But they have some internal struggles I could play out in our favor.
What do you mean?
I met someone who hates wizards, you included. He's killing all the sorcerers in the Resistance, and will weaken them.
Anything else?
No, Leon.
All right, you're free to go. Call for Sargon and then Garrett. I'd like to confer with them individually.
As you wish. You beat your fist to your chest, leaving the throne room. You head back to your friends. The king wants to speak with you. First Sargon, then Garrett. We'll meet up later to arrange the upcoming war, and on the battlefield. Good luck.
Good luck to you too.
Sargon replies.
See you soon.
Garrett continues. You leave the palace, heading to your lodging to rest. Soon, Leon will start issuing orders for the war. After a few days, you leave for Satropor. The provisioning line is efficient, and the war engines work well. The army moves slowly, and the scouts explore the road ahead. It's no surprise to you when an enemy force intercepts you. Once Leon is informed of the issue, he summons his commanders, including you. He arranges everything for the battle, assigning you the task of leading the cavalry. Everyone takes their positions, waiting for the enemies. You outnumber them. Overwhelming them shouldn't be hard. However, the troops you're facing are well assembled. The enemy's army spreads right before your eyes. Foot soldiers, archers, cavalry. You can't spot an individual leader in the midst. But it's not important. Everyone is lined up. The silence is surreal. Then, the ranks start attacking, and the uproar of the war becomes deafening. According to Leon's orders, you'll have to wait. Leading the cavalry, you will intervene only when the battle is raging. You keep watching the situation until it's time to get in the fight. Should you go for the archers or the foot soldiers? Charge! You cry out, launching ahead of the cavalry. You charge against the foot soldiers, reaping them like wheat. Your Greystorm is a fierce colossus, relentless against the enemy. You take down many others with your short sword, one after the other. Everyone falls under your blows. Suddenly, your ride roars and collapses, unsaddling you. An arrow stabbed the creature right under the throat, killing it. The archer you're up against is an ebony-skinned woman who's about to knock in another arrow. Will you hide behind the Greystorm's corpse, or respond firing a bolt from your crossbow? Your Greystorm's dead now. There's no need to follow it. As another arrow flies against you, you jump behind your ride's corpse. The woman is now close enough to engage in a one-on-one fight, but you might still prefer using the crossbow to respond. Lifting your arm, you aim your wrist crossbow at the woman. The quarrel hits her bow, and she loses her grip on the weapon. She didn't expect it, but she readily unsheaths her sword and her dagger. Then, she pounces. Using your crossbow, you'd risk her charging at you, and you want to play it safe. You unsheath your blades. You start off with a few exchanges to test each other out. The battle's uproar dulls your senses, but right now, it's as if you were the only ones there. Will you let her attack now, or will you try to surprise her once again? You let her make the first move, and she doesn't keep you waiting. She comes at you with a flurry of relentless slashes and blows. You have to back out a little, and you're put to the test when she tries plunging at you. You have to turn this fight around. How? With a sudden wrist movement, you parry the warrior's strike, responding with a slash. She's an expert fighter, and parries your dagger easily. You both jump back, glaring at each other. Right then, the battle tramples both of you. The resistance is retreating. You can't understand why they're retreating right now. But fire is raging on the battlefield, and Leon is bound to be the the cause of it. Your opponent splits, and you don't try to follow her. Your allies swarm as the resistance flees. You'll face the bold warrior another day.
なんかお前、いや、
伊達くん、大丈夫？そろそろ投薬の時間か。
お前は誰だ？俺の名前は伊達要。警視庁の特殊捜査班アビスに所属している警察官だ。やあ、こんにちは。俺こんにちワン族は中国南部やベトナム北部に居住している中国最大の少数民族だよ。詳しいな俺。このぐらい常識だぜ。
ああ、ごめんなさいね。まだ準備中なんですよ。
いや、客じゃないんですよ。実はこういうもんでね。
まさかあの子が。うちの太田が何かしでかしたんじゃ。
まあ落ち着いてください。ちょっと話を聞きに来ただけですから。あなたは太田くんの。
ええ、母親です。
失礼ですがお名前。
松下真由美と言います。
真由美さん、話の前に一ついいですか？
はあ。
その包丁。
あらやだ、すいません。
お前って見境ないよな。
あれでデジタル放送見られるのか？
おそらく無理だろう。チューナーらしきものが見当たらない。
なんだよ、
知らないのか？招き猫に向かって猫のモノマネをすると幸せが訪れるんだぞ。
そうだったのか。
あれはダークゾーンカルイマスのイルカちゃん。
誰だよ、
塩、胡椒、七味唐辛子と、それからこれは
真由美の黒い汁。
山田くんが持ってくるやつだな。
ジジイかよ。
そのカレンダーかわいいでしょ。カレンダーなんちゃって。 そんな時計のことはなんちゃって。
大丈夫なのか。
さあ。
気になるんですか？さっき宅配便の人が届け。
中には何が？
ろくでもないアイドルの魔女オータが頼んだんです。
送り主はグレグレ商店。
ネット通販の会社のよう。
品名は立体模型となってるな。
花柄の包丁だな。
ああ、絵の具。
母さん、いつもありがとう。
その包丁、オータが小学生の頃、母の日にくれたものなんです。私、花柄が好きなもんですから、それで。それ以来、厨房に立つときはいつもその包丁を使ってて。私にとってはかけがえのない宝物。とっても大切な包丁なんで。見ての通り粗末な定食屋ですよ。ただ自分で言うのもなんですが、これでも結構お客さんは多くて、夫と2人で切り盛りしてるんですが、お昼時なんかもうてんてこまいで。
妙だな。この店は8年前に閉鎖された川崎地区の近くにある。従って、いやな。
もう夫と2人で借金をして始めたんで、当時はどこでも簡単にお金を貸してくれました。材料の買い出しにでも行ってるんじゃなかったかしら。いつものことですよ。私には何も言わずにふらりと行方をくらましちまうんですから。
この女性について。
さあ、見覚えはないですけど。誰なんです？
いや、知らなければそれで。昨夜はひどい雨でしたね。
雨？そうですね。それが子、最近変な事務所に入り浸ってるみたいで。
事務所というのは？
ほら、なんて言ったっけ？いかがわしい社会不適合者みたいな連中が集まってる。
まさか暴力団の？
いえいえ、とんでもない。太田はそんなところに出入りす。
じゃあ
思い出しました。プロダクションです。芸能プロダク。何だったかしらね。最近物忘れがひどく。女神がいるから。
え？
本人はそう言ってるんですよ。女神がいるからって。私からすりゃ魔女以外の何者でもないですけどね。
魔女。
ええ、魔女です。太田をたぶらかして金品を貢がせる。そこにある段ボールだ。
テーブルの上の？
そうです。あれこそまさに魔女。ええ、その事務所に所属しているしょうもないアイドルですよ。
名前は？
名前？そんなもん覚えて。私はあの女のことは。
弱ったな。プロダクションもタレントの名前もわからないんじゃ。
さすがの私でもお手上げだ。
だろうな。
携帯？
そう、携帯です。持ってる。
私は額がなくてね。そんな横文字で言われてもさっぱり。
いやいや、横文字じゃあります。
携帯電話。
だってその女に聞く必要はない。太田の携帯番号ならすでに調査済みだ。
かけてくれ。
何度もかけた。だが、電源が入っていないか、電波の届かないところにいるようだ。
やれやれ。墓場にでも埋められちまったかな。
東京23区内での塗装は条例によって禁止されている。だっていつものように。
これは
人物の立体模型、いわゆるフィギュ
台座の部分に文字が。
金属でできたアルファベット型のパーツだ。X 線の透過性が低いため、こうしてはっきりと視認できる。
A セット。
調べてみよう。少し待ってくれ。だってフィギュアの件だが、 A セットとはアイドルの名前のようだ。
ユニット名か？
いや、違う。
じゃあこのフィギュアはその A セットってやつの。
おそらくそうだろう。
所属事務所は？
レムニスケート。
何？
もう一度言う。レムニスケートだ。
沖浦の事務所じゃないか。
そうだな。
すみません。もしかして太田君が言ったのはレムニスケイトという名前の事務所じゃ？
ああ、そうそう。それです、それ。
相棒、車を店の前に回してくれ。
了解だ。
あいつか。
間違いない。
松下太田だな。
誰？
警視庁の伊達だ。
警察。
おい伊達、見ろ。わーいわーい、アリさんだ。
お前昆虫を見るとはしゃぐくせ。あれは一体何を描いた絵なんだ？
さあな。
なるほど。今こいつをひっくり返したらどうなる？
減俸処分だ。
やめておこう。叩き壊してもいいか？
賠償金を支払えるなら。
くっそ。
なんで知ってるんだよ。
俺はエスパーだからだ。
なんだよそれ。ゆうべ？
とぼけんなよ。昨日の午後9時過ぎ、あの遊園地ブルームパークから悲鳴。
さあ何のことかな。
署まで来てもらってもいいんだぞ。
令状とかあるんですか？警察官職務執行法第2条3項、刑事訴訟に関する法律の規定によらその意に反して警察署、派出所もしくは駐在所に連行され答弁を強要されることはない。嫌だ、今割と忙しいんで。なんだってほっといてくれないかな。
まあ待て、こんなところで面倒を起こせば懲戒処。
じゃあどうするんだよ。
私に考えがある。だから待てと。
腹の虫が収まらん。
薬の効果が消えたか。いいから話を聞く。太田の PC は今
で
試しにハックしてみた。
アセトンってのは A セットのことか？
ファンの間ではそう呼ばれているらしい。
でこのオータンってやつがオータか？
その通りだが、他の3人の書き込みも太田が自分で入力している。つまり光学的タンパク繊維もポンゴポンコも KG も太田は一方で A セットのことをディスりながら、それを自分自身で擁護してるんだよ。いわゆる自作自演、マッチポンプ、偽旗作戦というやつだな。
哀れな男だ。おい、
なんだよ。
A セットにバラすぞ。
何を？
お前が Twitter で自作自演してることをだよ。
ギグ！何のことかな。
今ギクって言っただろうが。
妙な言いがかりはやめてほしいな。名誉毀損で訴えますよ。
光学的タンパク繊維もポンゴポンコも
なんでそれを。
言っただろ、エスパーだって。さあ、質問に答えてもらおうか。
マジかよ。
自作自演も本当にひどいが、それをお前アットマークをつけて A セット本人に見せつけてただろ。
だってそうしなきゃ僕が助けてるって気づいてもらえないじゃん。
お前な、 A セットがあの書き込みを見てどれだけ傷つくかわからんのか。
でも最後にはみんなアセトンちゃんのファンになるような展開にしてるし。
そういう問題じゃねえんだよ。ごめんなさい。 もう二度とあんな真似はするなよ。いいな。
出待ちだよ、アセトンちゃんの。
出待ちって普通局とかスタジオとかライブハウスとかでするもんじゃな。
ここは芸能プロダクションレムニスケートの自社ビル。中にはいくつかスタジオがあって、レコーディングとかネット配信の生放送。今日はアセトンちゃんここでウェブラジオの収録を。
も もう一度聞く。お前は昨日午後9時過ぎブルームなんでブルームパークの近くにいた？
それは
バラすぞ。おーいみんな。
わかった話すよ。話せばいいんだろ。実は僕ある女の子に誘われてブルームパークに行ったんだ。
お前あの園内に入ったのか？でその女の子ってのは？
沖浦瑞希っていう小学6年生の子。
なんだと？
この事務所レムニスケートの社長の娘なんだ。知ってる
も何も。
ただの友達だよ。
当たり前だ。
何をそんなに怒ってるんだよ。
どこで知り合った？
ここだよ。このレムニスケートのロビー。瑞希ちゃんはアセトンちゃんの友達で、僕とアセトンちゃんが話してたところに「おーい!」みたいな感じで
いつのことだ？
去年の9月だからかれこれ1年以上の付き合いに。
付き合いとか言うな。
じゃあなんて言えばいいんだよ。瑞希ちゃんにはね、たまに僕の作品を見てもらったりもしてる。
作品？
実は僕こう見えてライトノベルの作家をしてて。
ペンネームは？
大動員王さ。
だって今のは嘘だ。デビューしたプロの作家でそんな名前のやつは一人もいない。
なあ太田、嘘。このエスパー様は何？
正確に言うと作家の卵かな。とにかく瑞希ちゃんには僕が書き上げた小説を読んでもらってて、ちょくちょくアドバイスなんかも受けたりして。
小6の子かな？
瑞希ちゃんの指摘結構的確なんだよ。多分編集者の才能があるんだと思う。確か瑞希ちゃんから電話があったんだ。一緒にブルームパークに行ってほしいって。瑞希ちゃん多分怖く、ほらあそこって廃墟みたいになってるでしょ。だから一番頼りになる僕を
どうしてブルームパークに？
ナイルが届いたんだって瑞希ちゃんの携帯に。
ナイルとはスマートフォンやタブレット PC などで利用できるメッセンジャー。
内容は？
ちゃんとは今すぐブルームパークのメリーゴーランドのところに来いって。
送ってきたのは誰だ？
さあよくわからないんだ。とにかく絶対に行かなきゃいけないんだって瑞希ちゃんそう言ってて。
その後は？
瑞希ちゃんと待ち合わせして一緒に園内に。
お前一人で逃げ出したのか？小6の女の子を置き去りにして？
仕方がないだろう。人はパニックに陥るとわけのわからない行動を取っちゃうものなんだ。ほら火事の時に枕を持って逃げ出したりとか。
お前ってほんと最低だな。
やっぱりね、そう言うと思ったよ。だから言いたくなかったんだ。
通報の時に名乗らなかったのも、最初にとぼけて見せたのも、それを隠したかったからだ。すぐにバレるとは思わなかったのか。水木が話したら一発でアウトだろうが。
水木ちゃんは言わないと思ったんだ。
なんで？
夜中に僕みたいなやつと一緒にいたって分かったら。同居人に叱られるって最初はもちろん携帯からかけようと思ってもドキドキして怖くて手がガタガタと震えちゃってて、しかも夕べはひどい雨だったです。それで手を滑らせて携帯を
落としたのか。
水たまりの中に。
相棒、太田の携帯の最終アクセスポイントは
ブルームパークの近くだ。それ以降電源は一度も入っ
どうやら信じてもよそう。
オータン、何やってるの？
アセトンちゃん！
あなたは
警視庁の伊達さん。夕べの件で僕に話を聞きに来たんだ。
ってことは刑事さん？嘘！私本物の刑事さんに会うのって初めて。
伊達、血中のアドレナリン濃度が増加している。どうかしたのか？
いや、なんでもない。
どんな
女神と召喚獣みたいな関係だよ。
召喚獣？
アセトンちゃんがピンチになったらいつでもどこでも駆けつけて
でも召喚獣っていうよりは正義のヒーローじゃない？オータン、私がネットで叩かれてるといつも
やめてよ、なんか照れちゃうな。
こいつ。ああ、そうだ。あの Twitter の書き込みについて。太田、今日からお前は召喚獣。俺にも仕えてもらおう。
分かったよ。
それって沖浦瑞希ちゃんのことですよね。だとしたら本当です。この事務所の社長、沖浦蓮樹って言うんですけど、 みずきちゃんはたまにここにも遊びに来ることがあって。
それで知り合いに？
まあ他にもいろいろと理由はあったりするんですけど、基本的にはそんな感じです。
そうか、水木はたまにここへ。一つ確認させてくれ。君が衛星
ポッカポカ。
布団水遁アセトンちゃん。
うやま
おとんプラトンアセトンち
破壊力
ゃん。500メガトンアセトンちゃ
ネット界の揮発性溶媒アセトンこと
だってここは磁場が乱れている。早急に退散すべきだ。
少し前に18歳になりました。
ってことは高速？
はい。
だって手を出したりするのよ。
バカ、誰がこんなクソガキなんか。ああ、すまん、太田の。
僕がどうかした？
聞きましたよ。オータンがブルームパークで見た死体のことですよね。
アセトンちゃん。
お前警察には黙ってたのにどうした？
非日常的な事象の体験談は誰かが、おそらく太田は彼女を釣るために
人の死をネタにした。
あ、事件のことについては
なんで？
だってテレビでもネットでも今それで今朝オータンに会った時、実は僕その
この女性が誰？
ゆうべブルームパ名前は名波翔子。ネットのニュースで見たんだ。
もしかしてお前彼女の子供？
子供がいるのこの人。
私も知りませんでした。
どうやら2人は翔子が水木の母親だとは気づいていないようだな。
名字が違うからか。翔子は名波で
翔子が沖浦蓮樹の前妻だったこともまだ報道されてないしな。
アセトンちゃんはいつ見ても本当に可愛いな。可愛すぎて体中のカルシウムが溶け出しちゃいそう。ねえ、だってさんもそう思うでしょ？
お前さっき会ったばっかりなのに。
それは多分アセトンちゃんの愛のオーラがアセトンちゃんを見てるとさ、なんかこう頭の中がふわーってなって。
だってこれ以上2人と話していても仕方がない。我々の目的は名波翔子。
分かってる。もう一度。2人とも現場だ。夕べした。
じゃあ私も行きます。
あ？
一緒に連れてってください。
なんで？
事件のこともっと詳しく知りたいから。犯人の目星はついてるんですか？きっと異常者の犯行ですよね。だってオータン言ってましたもん。死体はひどい姿で馬の上にだとしたら犯人は。オータン、動画撮って。いいから早く。伊達さん！お願い伊達さん、私を置いていかないで。
え？
私、伊達さんに捨てられたらもう生きていけない。
お前、何を？
オータン、取ってくれた？
うん。
伊達さん、警視庁の刑事さんなんでしょ？この動画が拡散されたら大変なことになっちゃうだろうな。あ、言っときますけど、この携帯を取り上げても無駄ですからね。データはすでにクラウド。さっき言ったじゃない、私を現場に連れて行くこと。そしたらこの動画は削除してあげます。
伊達、松下真由美が言ってたこと、奥尾の女はやはり魔女だ。
怒ってるんじゃない。いつかお前を東京湾に沈めてやるって。
沈むのは慣れてる。俺の仕事だからな。
伊達さん、ちゃん
大丈夫。いつもこうしてるんだ。気にするな。
そうですね。有名になりたかったからかな。とにかく有名になってテレビとかいっぱい出て、日本中の人たちに私の顔を知ってもらいたかったんです。
アイドルの答えとしては0点だ。
いいんですよ。ネットアイドルは素の自分を出した方がウケるので。
ネットアイドル？
あれ？オータンから私、基本的にはネットを中心に活動してるアイドルなんで、歌ってみたとか踊ってみたとか。伊達さんはいくらマン太って知ってますか？
マップ内にブロックを配置し、様々な物体を構築して楽しむサンドボックスゲームの名作のことだ。
最近は特にその実況に力を入れてるんです。
じゃあテレビとかには？
わけないじゃないですか。私みたいな三流アイドル、地下やローカルとも違って箱でライブやったりとかもしないですし。最初は自宅で動画配信サービスを使って普通に生放送してたんです。そしたら自分で言うのもなんなんですけど、いろんなとこからうちの事務所に来ませんか的なやつが。
そのうちの一つが
実はうちの母レムニスの社長と古く
沖浦と。
はい、それでいろいろと相談に乗ってもらったりして。ほら、芸能事務所って言ってもうさんくさいところとかいかがわしいところとかいっぱいあったりするじゃないですか。私も母もそういうの全然わからなかったから。そしたら沖浦さんがなんならうちで面倒見てあげてもいいけどって。なんでそんなことを聞く？
いや、アイドルとファンの関係。
オータンは特別なんですよ。さっきも言いましたけど、私
ヒーロー。
なんていうか、一緒に映画行ったりカラオケ行ったり洋服買いに行ったり、愚痴とか悩み事とかも結構聞いてもらったりしてるんです。年は6つも離れてるんですけどね。でも全然そんな感じがしなく。そうだ、刑事さんの仕事って楽しいですか？
さあどうだろうな。俺は刑事になった。
でも伊達さん。
ああ、だが刑事部に所属してるわけじゃないんだよ。
だったらどこに？
さあな。
教えてください。
おい、何をしてる？
さっきの動画ばらまいてやろうと思って。
よせ、やめろ。
じゃあ教えてくれますか？
待て、よくよく考えてみたら。
何がですか？
さっきの動画、お前一応アイドルなんだろ。あの動画が拡散しちまったら
別にいいんです。
どうして？
だって私死んじゃうから。
え？
私予知能力があるんです。だから自分がいつ
別に。
とにかく私は差し違える覚悟ですから。教えてくれないなら本当にばらまきますよ。
俺は警視庁の特殊捜査班アビス。
おい、伊達。
しょうがないだろ。
アビスって何ですか？
アドバンストブレインインベスティゲーションスクワッド。公には明かされていない日。
なんかかっこいいですね。
誰にも言うなよ。
口が裂けても言いません。エジプトの女神イシスに誓って。
ところでお前の本名
知りたいですか？
教えたくないならそれでも。
イリスです。サガンイリス。変わった名前でしょ？せっせっせのよいよいよい。神社の神主さんがみかんの種をまきました。どうかしましたか？
あ、いや別に。 伊達さんですよね。ああ。この子は重要参考人だ。
ですです。
通らせてもらうぞ。はあ。
伊達さん。
園内の倉庫に保管されていたものだ。ここに忍び込んだ悪ガキどもがベンチなんて世界中から消えてしまえばいいんだ。
どうしたんだ？
白と黒のお仕置きされたりしないですよね。
何の話だ？
私が好きなゲームにそういうクマが出てくるんです。
相棒、死体発見時の状況を見せてくれ。
何か気になることでも？
証拠の死因は躯幹前面部をアイスピックでめった刺しにされ、当然のごとく大量の出血。だが見ろ、見つかった時からそうだった。
確かに拭い取った痕跡も見当たらないな。
つまり
伊達さん、私がこのポールに絡みつくようにしてダンスしてるとこ。
してねえよ。
小さい頃はありますが、閉鎖されてからは一度も。だってここ樺崎地区って立ち入り禁止区域でしょ。一般の人はこの区域には入っちゃいけないことになってるはずで。
この遊園地ブルームパークは川崎地区に存在する。閉鎖されたのは今から8年。当時近くのケミカルプラントで大規模な爆発事故が飛散した有害な化学物質によって、これを受けて政府は近隣の住民に対して同時に樺崎地区の全体をここが閉園となったのはそのた
だが樺崎地区へと至る全ての道路を警官が見張って、抜け道ならいくらでもあるし、対岸から船で上陸することも可能だ。避難勧告を無視してここに居座り続けてる連中もいるしな。
その人たちって
さあな、 仮に何かあったとしても自己責任だろ。
じゃあ
大丈夫だ。付近の除染作業はほぼ終わってる。化学物質の濃度は人体に影響のないレベルにまで低下。ここでマラソンしたって死ぬことはないから。
でも立ち入り禁止の指定は
一応法的にはな。だからマスコミの連中もここには来られない。いつもより静かで助かるよ。一丁前に探偵。
伊達さん、この馬の上に。
そうだ。
だとすると儀式どっかの秘密めいた宗教団体が今回の猟奇的な殺人、三角頭巾をかぶった怪しげなメンバーたちがじゅんぐりじゅんぐりに。
見事な想像力だが根拠はあるのか。
あります。
じゃあ聞かせても。
馬は英語でホルスと語感が似てるじゃないですか。
あ？
知りませんか？ホルスっていうのはエジプト神話に登場する天空と太陽の神のことです。その右目はラーの目と呼ばれ太陽の象徴とされています。左目の方はウジャトの目。これをモチーフにしてデザインされたものが
プロビデンス。
これのことだ。
なるほど。ピラミッドのてっぺんにある目のことか。
そうです。でこのプロビデンスの目はフリーメイソンやイルミナティのシンボルとも言われていてね、つながったでしょ。
どこがだよ。
私オータンから聞いた。死体の左目にアイスピックが突き刺さってたって。ホルス、プロビデンスの目、左目、これってどう考えても儀式的な意味があるとしか。
待て、アイスピック、死体の左目に。
はい。
オータがそう言ってたのか。
そうですけど
我々が現着した時には死体の左目にアイスピックは。
だが今の話が確かなら。
ということは
水木が。なあイリス、何を探してるんだか知らないがそんなことをしても無駄だと思うぞ。
どうしてですか？
この辺り一帯は警官たちだが犯人に関する点見つかってたらとっくに相棒の。
相棒？
俺のパートナー。
そんな人どこにもいないじゃないですか。
いるんだよ、すぐ目の前に。
もうちょっと。
ダメだ。そもそも一般人をこんなところに
もうわかっ。
おい、どうした？大丈夫か？
もしかしてつわりかな。
え？
冗談ですよ。だって私未経験だし。
乗れ、車で家まで送ってやる。
はい、やった。
お前体重はいくつだ？
女性にそういうことは聞きます？
48キロだ。
なるほど、48か。
背負っただけでわかるんですか？
まあな。
伊達さんの背中あったかい。 水辺のサバンナ等に生息する。
それはインパラ。うわ、後部座席にびしょ濡れの。嘘に決まってんだろ。
もう伊達さん。
な。
最悪。
そうか。
もっと心配してくださいよ。
完全に復活してんじゃねえか。
もしかしたら空元気かも。
そうは見えん。
もしここで戻しちゃったらどうします？
戻したものを元へ戻す。
うげ、本当に戻したくなってきた。
おい。
いえ、なんかちょっと暑いなと思って。
現在の車内の気温は21度。人間が暑さを感じる環境ではないはずだが。
ねえ伊達さん、時速60キロの車からこんな風に手を出すと D カップの胸を揉んでるのと同じ感触がするんですって。
危ないからやめろ。腕がもげるぞ。
もげてもいいんです。緑色の宇宙人みたいに手が生えてくるんですよ。
さっきは近いうちに死ぬって言ってたな。
なんだか。
手のひらのことか？
そうじゃなくて、私前に伊達さんと会ったような気がするんです。
そいつは良かったな。だがその手を引っ込めないと二度と会えなくなっちまうかもしれないぞ。
それは困りますね。風気持ちいいな。さあ、はい。
いや、俺はこれで。
帰っちゃうんですか？
やだ、イリス、お客様なの？
今お茶入れますからね。
はじめまして、イリスの母のサガン瞳と言います。
瞳。
失礼ですが、
その人は警視庁の伊達さん。
警視庁のということは。
伊達さんは
イリス。
あ、そっか。なんでもないの、気にしないで。
相棒、寒かったらあの中に入れて温めてやる。
その前にお前の心を入れるべきだ。
公立の小学校で教師をしています。
先生ですか。何かと大変でしょうね。
いえ、そんなことは。もともと子供が好きなので、苦労も喜びのうちの一つです。
そういえばレムニスケートの社長沖浦蓮寿と知り合いだそうですね。
沖浦君は高校の時の同級生で、かれこれ20年以上の付き合いになります。永徳学園っていう高校なんですけど。
永徳学園。
知ってるのか？
私はネットに載っている情報なら全て知っている。
もちろん知っていますが、でも直接会ったのは2回だけです。最初は沖浦君の結婚式の時で、2度目は1月ほど前に偶然。でもどうしてそんなことを？
いえ、気にしないでください。
37です。
イリスさんは確か18歳でしたね。
そうですよ。
ということはかなり若くして。
19歳の時に。
ご主人は？
おりません。
離婚されたという。
ちょっと伊達さ
ん。いいのよイリス。結婚はしていないんです。
未婚の母というわけですか。
ええ。すみません。なんとなくどこかで。い
え、初めてですよ、お会い。
そうですよね。
伊達さん、お茶冷めないうちに。
ああ。
そっか。
そうね、いただきましょうか。
もしかして左利きですか？
ああ、
ママ、昔は右利きだったんです。でも今は。
ちょっと動かなくなってしまって。
そうですか。
生まれた時からですよ。もちろんママはそれよりもずっと前から。
私も小さい頃からこの家で育ちました。思い出がいっぱい詰まってる家なんです。一時期引っ越しを考えたこともあるんですが、どうしてもここを離れたくなくて。
なぜ引っ越ししようと？
それはちょっといろいろと。
そうですか？
はあ。
今朝の予感当たったなと思って。
予感？
私の後ろ花が咲いてるでしょ？
咲いてるが、それが？あの花は
アヤメの一種です。
アヤメ？アヤメって普通5月ぐらいに咲くものな。
あれはガンザキアヤメって言うんです。英語で言うとウィンターアイリス。その名の通り寒い時期に咲くアヤメで。
ちょうど今朝咲いたばかりなんですよ。
アヤメの花言葉は良き知らせと希望なので、今朝起きてあの花を見た時、何かいいことが起こるような気がして。はい、おかげさまで。今ならライオンにだって勝てそうです。
俺は一体どうリアクション？
相手にするな。巻き込まれて怪我するぞ。
さてと。
伊達さん、もう一度会えますよね。
どうかな。俺は警察の人間だ。もし次に会うとしたら、あまり望ましくない事態が発生した時だろう。
そん
な。水木の友達ならその関係で会う機会が。あいつは俺んちの居候みたいなもんだから。それじゃな。 失礼しました。では私はこれで。
はい、お気をつけて。
伊達、これまでの情報少し。
ああ。やあ、俺の名前なんだって？俺も同じ名前だ。
もしかして薬の量。
無理するなよ、分かってる。
大丈夫には見えないが。
なあ俺、しりとりでもしないか？ああ、いいぜ。しりとりのイエーイ！
殺意が湧いてきた。
わあ、刃物を持ったおばあちゃんが全力で追いかけてくる。
はいはい。ボスの毒。
ピンハネク。
死体発見時、証拠を乗せた馬に血痕は見当たる。
つまりあそこが殺害現場では、証拠はどこか別の場所で殺されて、あのメリーグだとすると、水木はまだ車の運転なんてできないし、一人。
もしかして疑っ。
少しでも可能性が。それが俺たちの仕事だ。
とにかく良かったじゃないか。これで水木が犯人という可能性は限りなく低くなった。
まあ当然といえばあいつが実の母親を手にかけるなんて、そんな度胸も根性も。
さあな、かくれんぼでもしてたんじゃないか。
かくれんぼ？
真に受けるなよ。お前がよく言う冗談って。翔子の死亡推定時刻は昨日。死因は区間前面部を複数の箇所に。凶器はどうやら水木が持っていたアイスピックと考えて間違いなさそう。現場には指紋や毛髪を含めて犯人の手がかりになりそうな遺留。死体はメリーゴーランドの馬の上に縛りつけられた子のことか、むしろ誰か。
相棒、昨日の出来事時系列でまとめ。
了解だ。
水木の携帯にナイルしたのは誰なんだ？
まあ普通に考えれば犯人だろうな。
だが水木が全く知らない他人から呼び出されてホイホイと出向いていったとは考えられない。
では他人ではなく
知り合いってことか。
もしくは犯人が知り合いの携帯を使ったかだな。
相棒、お前のハッキングスキルをもってすればナイルの。
それがナイルが解析するのにしばらく時間が。 お前そこにエロ本隠してるだろ。
隠してねえよ。なんでそんな。
死体は失われた左の眼球はなおイリスの王太が死体を目撃した時には左目にアイスピックが突き刺さっていたらしい。
どうしてそのアイスピックをなぜ水。
ブルームパーク周辺の監視カメラの映像を調べてみたんだが、どういうわけか。
何が？
車だよ。昨日園内の駐車場や付近の道に停車した車が1台も。
確かか。
ああ、
じゃあ犯人はどういう。
わからん。
おっかえり。診察が終わったから連れてきたの。
水木。じゃあ失声症は。
うん、まだしゃべ。
いいのかよ、連れてきちまって。
ちゃんと病院の許可は取ったわ。あそこの院長、看護師に手出してるみたいなのよね。そのことをネタにしてゆすったら連れてってもいいって。
そういうのは許可とは言わない。
とにかく伊達君、あなたがやるべきシンクして。